Hey guys, welcome back to Clubhouse Kids. Today's video, I'm going to be highlighting 10 benefits of in-home childcare. So if you are a provider and you are just wanting to beef up your interview, this is a great thing to place into your interview folders to really highlight your program and say what are the benefits to in-home childcare instead of over like commercial daycare or a nanny or group daycare or many of the other options out there. And also, if you are a parent and you are looking into different options for your child, go ahead and watch this video as well, because I'm going to be highlighting the 10 best benefits of putting your child in an in-home daycare. So if you're interested in this video, stick around. So the 10 benefits that I came up with, I did not put them in any order. These are just all random. I might say when I get to one like this is my favorite one, but they're not in any order at all. So the first one is an in-home daycare is going to have a family atmosphere. So when you're pulling into your home daycare, it's in your neighborhood, it's by your parks, you're gonna walk your child in, and you have like that home setting. And what I have noticed from being an in-home provider and then also working in a commercial daycare years ago is that children transition into an in-home daycare easier than the more commercial institutionalized daycare. That's not to say that they won't do well in a commercial daycare. I'm not bashing commercial daycares at all. I actually really enjoyed my time there, but that initial like bringing your child into daycare for the first time, I have noticed that a family atmosphere is just an easier transition for them. They're just looking at things that are familiar to them. It's just more of a comfortable environment for them. So the number 2 benefit is that you are going to know your child's provider. So when you are interviewing for home daycares and you are interviewing with a provider, that is the person that's going to be taking care of your child. Some other options of care is you might be interviewing with the director, and that director is not always the one caring for your child. And so you might not know the teachers, but when you go into in-home daycare, the person that's interviewing is the person that will be taking care of your child, so you can really make sure that their personality and your personality matches. Also, there's a high turnover of care in the commercial daycares. Your child might have multiple teachers throughout like a year, whereas in a home daycare, the person that you interview with is going to be the one with your child. Unless they close their daycare, there's no turnover there. So that is a huge benefit, especially in that infant age, just having that consistent caregiver for your child. So the third benefit is a smaller group size. And so most home daycares have between 4 and 8 children. So your teacher to your student ratio is going to be much smaller, and the benefit to that, your child's going to have a lot more individual one-on-one attention. Sometimes if you have a quieter child in a group that has a lot of children, sometimes they get pushed aside just a bit because they're not the loud child, they're not the demanding child that is demanding some attention. But in an in-home daycare, they are still going to get that individual attention from the provider because there's less children to divide the attention around. So the fourth reason I came up with was that the home daycare is going to have fewer illnesses, and that's just kind of a given just because of the smaller group size. There's not going to be as many illnesses brought in as you would see in like a larger group setting. So the fifth benefit of a home daycare is it's just more personal. Like, you are going to get to know that provider. In most cases, they become part of your extended family. If you are at work and you're missing your child, you can just text that provider and say, hey, can you send me a picture? If you're at home and it's 9 o'clock at night and you're just wondering about something, you can send a quick text. That you also need to respect the provider's time. But when you build a solid relationship with the provider, they love your child, you love your provider. It is just a friendship that you find in the benefit of bringing your child to a home daycare setting. The sixth reason, which I feel like is such an important one, I personally feel like kids nap better in a home daycare than a commercial daycare. I think it just goes with the classroom setting. In a commercial daycare, all the kids are usually in one classroom, and so you're just going to have a lot of extra noise. If one child wakes up, they might wake up the child that's next to them. Whereas in a home daycare, you are kind of in your whole house. And so if you have a child that needs to kind of sleep and be away from the rest of the children, you know, you kind of have a little more flexibility of napping the children around your house instead of napping them all together. Now, I'm not to say that I do know some home daycares that still nap all their kids in one room. I have napped my preschoolers all in one room and it worked fine. But I also do an infant toddler daycare, and I have a couple kids that really do need a space kind of off on their own. And it just makes me wonder sometimes, like if they were in a commercial daycare, they would be exhausted. I just don't feel like they would get a good nap. And at the end of the day, when you go to pick up your baby, you don't want them to be tired and exhausted and not be able to spend that time with them because they just are rubbing their eyes and wanting to go to bed. So the 7th reason is I do feel like in the home daycare setting that the potty training process can be a little easier. And that's just because you have probably a ratio of maybe 1 to 3 kids that are potty training at that time. Maybe your child's the only one that's potty training at that time. Whereas if they were in a commercial daycare, they'd be in a 2's room, and that poor teacher is trying to potty train, you know, 20 kids, and yes, she's got help, but I do feel like the home daycare can accommodate more frequent potty breaks than a commercial daycare. So the 8th reason that I came up with was the meals can be probably a little bit healthier. They're being prepared in a kitchen. It's not always like the bulk food that's being bought. A lot of the time, it's just the provider, you know, going to the grocery store, buying her weekly groceries and preparing her menu and preparing them that day for your children. So I do feel like the menus can be a little bit healthier in the home daycare setting. The 9th reason is that with a smaller group setting, your lessons can be more personalized. Let's say I have only, you know, 4 kids and everybody is really into Paw Patrol at that moment. I can really accommodate that and make learning fun. I can teach the colors through Paw Patrol. I can teach shapes through Paw Patrol. We can do activities around Paw Patrol and crafts and stuff like that. Another example could be, you know, it's raining one morning and the kids are just at the windows and looking. We can grab some umbrellas and we can go outside and we can talk about the rain. There's just more opportunities to personalize the lessons in a smaller group home setting. And then the 10th reason I came up with, you can usually find a little more flexibility in home daycares, meaning if you have just an untraditional schedule, you know, don't really quite fit that profile of 7 to 5 Monday through Friday, home daycare is a great option. Sometimes you can find a provider that can just kind of work around your schedule. Currently, I have a couple nurses that, you know, they work maybe 3 days one week and 2 days the next. And as a home daycare, I can provide that type of untraditional schedule for them. If you need drop-in care, you can always call your home daycare and see if they have the space to fit your child in a day that they don't normally attend. All right, guys, I got one more bonus benefit for you, and I feel like this is the most important one of why home daycare is just an amazing choice for your child, and that is most home daycare providers are moms who didn't want to send their child to daycare either. They wanted to be home with their child, and so they have found a way to be home with their child but also bring an income for their family. So they get it. They get how hard it is to drop your babies off, and so they're gonna go the extra mile for you. You're gonna automatically have that connection of just that mom-to-mom connection. And also, this is your provider's business. She has built this business. There is so much going on in the background when you own a home daycare. This is their thing. If something goes wrong, it is on their license, it is on them. So most daycare providers, they are sticking to the paperwork. They are up to it. They are working hard at their business, and they love your kids just as their own. So as you can see through this video, I love home daycare. I used to work at a commercial daycare. I actually really enjoyed my time being at that commercial daycare. I don't have anything like negative to say about commercial daycare. If you as a parent decide to send your child to commercial daycare, I could write up a list of the 10 benefits of commercial daycare too. I could write up a list of 10 benefits of having a nanny. That's the nice thing about just being able to choose multiple options for your child. So this video, please don't take that I'm bashing another option out there. I think as parents, we just need to find the environment that we feel is best for our own child. This is just highlighting 10 benefits that I have noticed as being a provider for 13 years in the home daycare setting. So thanks for watching this video, guys, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.